Like when you went from the state to working in real estate full time, and people from the outside looking in, they're looking like, oh, well, that must be easy. She making all the money over there.
A lot of people get into real estate and they think, well, I want to work for this company and that company because they're a brand. You're your own brand.
Right.
Okay.
I tried to explain this to somebody. Like, it's like you're working for somebody. You're going to work every day. You expect your paycheck on Friday. And then they just tell you, oh, you're not going to get paid today.
Or tomorrow. Or next week.
Yep.
It's just
this is a dead deal. It's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So if you could give somebody like new that's wanting to come into the game some advice, what do you think that would be? Like if you could give them some kind of gem.
If they're wanting to start into real estate, well, like I said, don't be really concerned with.
Welcome to Keys and Connections, where we keep it real about real estate, business, and everything in between. All from my kitchen island. So I'm your favorite homegirl, Keisha with the keys. And today I'm kicking it off with a real estate powerhouse here in Texarkana, Miss Jackie Turentine. She is awesome. And she is a blessing to me. She's been in the real estate game for over 19 years. And I just want you all to meet her today. So she's not a gatekeeper. She's always dropping gems, and she's always been a blessing to me personally. Every time I talk to her, I leave with something. She's always dropping gems. It's always something. I don't care if we see each other in the bank drive-thru, which this was really happened, and she dropped gems that day too. I mean, like, every time. It's always something valuable. So I know this conversation is going to be really, really good. So let me introduce you all to Miss Jackie Turentine. Welcome to Keys and Connections.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! My pleasure. So let's get it started from the beginning now. I will go ahead and say I have these cue cards because I can talk about real estate all day. So I want to stay on track, because we'll be all over the place because we talk. So, so that's what I'm going to do is stay on track today. Try to. So, all right, let's start from the beginning. What got you in real estate, Miss Jackie?
What started me in real estate is I actually wrote an offer for my own house. I wanted to buy a house. And for you guys who are younger, you probably don't remember Carlton Cheese. But it was an infomercial that used to come on TV, and you could buy this packet, and it would actually give you a contract, and it walk you through how to buy a house.
Really?
Right. And so I actually purchased it, but I never used it. So I was going to buy a house, and it just so happened it was a for sale by owner. So I pulled out my little carton sheets, and the guy was an older guy, so he didn't know. And excuse me. So I actually wrote the contract and bought my own house with using his program.
Oh.
And it was simple. So there was a guy at my church, and he was like, well, I want to buy a house too. And I want you to do what you did to get your house. And I said, okay. So I did the same thing. He found a house. We wrote did the Carlton Sheets thing. Of course, I didn't get paid. But I was like, this is fun. But, I didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And that's when the light bulb, I was like, well, you could be doing this and making money.
Right.
And that's basically how it started.
Okay. And did you always know this was your thing, or
no?
Is it just something that life kind of threw at you?
It just kind of happened. Yeah, I was working a 9 to 5, and it was more month in money.
Yeah.
And so I really needed to do something more. I was recently divorced, single parent, and I had to do something, and that was just that was it. It just worked for me.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I admire you, and I admire your story. We have a lot of things in common. I know you told me you were working for the state.
Yes.
And I was working for the state too before I got into real estate full time. And so I was a single mom. So we have a lot of things in common, and I really, really admire you and your drive and everything that you do and your major, major accomplishments. Like, you really are, you're like a quiet storm, because you don't say much, but we know you over here rocking it. But we already talked about that. All right.
Don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody.
So what was your first deal like?
Well, actually, I got my real estate license like in September of 2006. And my broker at the time, they had already told me, don't expect to sell your first house for 1 year. Okay.
Right.
Now, I didn't know anything about the real estate game because I was new. I was still working another job. I didn't know nothing. I was just like, this is what I need to do. I got a child in high school. Let's get it.
Yeah.
So I had made up in my mind it was gonna take me a year. So actually, I had a referral from a friend at that time, and it was a minister, and he was looking for a home. And now I didn't know how to use a lockbox. I didn't know my way around Texarkana because I wasn't from Texarkana. So he had a specific house he wanted to look at. And so I didn't even know how to get to the house.
Oh.
Okay. I didn't know where Spring Lake Park was, like Spring Lake Park. So actually,
and it wasn't navigation back then.
No. We didn't have navigation.
Right.
You could look on the MLS and it would tell you how to get there, but I was new. I didn't know that. So actually, I followed the minister to the house. So that's how I got to Spring Lake Park.
Okay.
I really didn't know how to open the lockbox, but I figured it out. And you gotta, when you're opening the key, you gotta know if the key need to be up or down.
Right.
I'm trying to figure that out. But anyway, we get in, I show him the house, and I showed him a couple of more houses from that point. And actually, he was the first one. So within the first, I'm going to say the first 6 months, 3 months actually, I had like 4 closings.
In the first 3 months?
Yes, they were all closing at the same time.
And you were still working for the state?
Yes. So I ran into this guy actually last year. And mind you, this was in 2006. And I said, did you know that you were the first person I sold a house to? And he said, no, I didn't. I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to get to Spring Lake Park.
Is he still there?
No, he didn't buy that house. He bought in Pleasant Grove.
Oh, okay.
But he is still here in the community.
Oh, wow.
But he said he had no idea that I didn't know what I was doing.
You did good.
Didn't even know how to get there. So that was my first deal.
Okay. So how long did it take you to become a broker?
Okay, let's see. Like I said, I started in 2006. I worked for a large box real estate company, and then I went to a commercial real estate company, and I learned commercial, did some commercial. Then that's when I was introduced to luxury, started doing luxury. I went full time as a real estate agent in 2009. Okay. So 3 years later.
Okay.
And in 2011. 2011, yes.
Okay.
And then what happened is that when you're working with a large company or any brokerage, they charge you a fee for actually, what
the franchise
fee, the brokerage. You got to split your commission with your broker.
Yes.
And if you're with a large company, they have E&O insurance, and then they have the franchise, and then they have a split. And so by the time they finish splitting and dicing me up.
Not splitting the dice.
Yes. Now, mind you, I was doing a lot of business.
Yes.
But
you start looking at all that
money.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, this ain't working for me.
Yeah.
And so luckily I had a lot of older real estate people that worked in that company, and I just watched them and followed them because they really, they're not gonna teach you nothing when you get your real estate license. So if you believe that they are, they're not. And so I was like, I can do this on my own, and I decided that I was gonna get my broker's license. And I set a goal, and I got my broker's license. I had already found me a place, which I'm still here today at the same place.
Wow, you've been there this long.
Yes, 2014. Wow. I opened up PinkHouse Realty, and it's still there.
Yeah.
And that was it. And, so that was the reason why. It was the money. I was just Didn't want to keep giving my money out.
Right.
And I was working so hard. I wasn't getting any referrals at this place because I was considered a part-time agent at the time. So they didn't do referrals to you.
To part-time agent.
You couldn't get phone duty. You couldn't do any of those things, but they took half of your money. Okay. So yeah, that's what did it.
Yeah.
It was the money.
Yeah,
It was the money. Yeah, it was the money.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So I know being a broker, it comes with a lot more responsibility. What do you think has been one of your biggest challenges as far as being a broker?
Within any small business, it's hard because you're everything. You are the janitor. You're cleaning your building.
Marketing.
Yes, you're doing the marketing. You're doing the real estate. You got to keep up with your books, and you got to keep up.
Yeah.
So you're everything in your business.
Right.
Now, I had decided that I really didn't want to work with agents. I just wanted to be a real estate boutique. I just wanted to do what I do, but still, even with that, I still had to pay the rent for where I am, and so I was everything, the accountant, and so that's been the hardest part. Managing the business, and that's with any business, whether it's real estate or not. So that's the hardest part, is just, doing what needs to be done, and you're the only one doing it.
Yes. People don't really understand. Like we talked earlier about the leap, like taking the leap and taking it, like when you went from the state to working in real estate full time, and, people from the outside looking in, they're looking like, oh, well, that must be easy. She making all the money over there. So, kind of enlighten the people about that as far as like taking the leap, and if real estate is something that they're thinking about doing, not trying to discourage anyone, but just keeping it real.
Well, like with anything, you get out of it what you put into it.
Yes.
And with real estate, if you're seeing Keisha out here and she's doing what she's doing, she might make it look easy, but you're going to miss some things.
Yeah.
I missed time with my family when I could have been going to Fort Worth or whatever, or going to see a friend for a party, but somebody called and, they're in town.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of sacrifice.
It's a lot.
In order to get that success. And so it's not that easy. I had someone say, well, I got in real estate because you made it look so glamorous. And I thought I was going to be able to wear all these nice clothes and drive a nice car. And, well, you can do that, but you're going to have to sacrifice.
Right.
And if you have children, you're not going to always be there. You might have to leave them in the car sometime to go open up. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And then everybody that you're working with, they're not going to buy a house.
Right.
And then on top of that, after doing all that and making the sacrifice, you might find them a house, but the deal might fall through.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get paid until it's all done.
Woo, you said something then. Let's talk about that. So those deals that fall through, honey, have me over here about to bang my head up against the wall sometimes. Oh my gosh. Like, I tried to explain this to somebody. Like, it's like you're working for somebody, you're going to work every day, you expect your paycheck on Friday, and then they just tell you, you're not going to get paid today.
Or tomorrow, or next week.
Yep.
It's just
this is a dead deal. It's
over.
Not going anywhere.
Exactly.
It's over with. So how do you deal with those? Like, I know you're not supposed to count your money before you get it. I've learned that now after 5 years, but how do you deal with it?
Well, actually, you want to fight. I ain't lying. You like, wait a minute.
I done put in
all this work and I ain't even get nothing, not a dime. Nothing? You mean we did a home inspection and the home inspector got paid?
Yeah,
we did an appraisal and the appraiser got paid.
Yes.
But I'm not getting anything. So basically, that's where you have to make sure that you have a lot of things going on in your pipeline.
Yes.
Okay. And so basically how I dealt with that, or how I would deal with that, is everybody has a financial goal that they want to meet. However,
each month,
annually, monthly, or however it is.
Yeah.
And so you're going to lose some deals, but as long as at the end of the day or the month or the year, you're going to make it up somewhere else.
Yes.
So you can't stay stuck on that one
Right.
deal that you lost, because you still got all these other deals you got to work, and the deals you don't even know about
Right.
is going to come. So you just focus on, okay, you can't focus on that, because
No.
you'll lose more deals
Right.
thinking about the one you lost, especially if it's beyond your control and you can't do anything about it.
Yes.
So you just got to keep going.
I will say there was one deal that really, really hurt my heart.
Did we talk about that?
I think I told you about this one. I don't know, but it was actually just a couple of months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago, and it was like over $500,000 house, and we were good. Like, they were solid. They're solid buyers. We're good with the lender. Everything's great, and then they just decide we don't want to stay here anymore. We want to move back to Guam or somewhere. So, and they left. And it's like, everybody was just like, okay. Like, you got the listing agent who's like, are you serious? And then I'm the buyer's agent. And then you have the lender. I mean, everybody is all in. And they just decided they didn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
And it was one of those that was supposed to close like right before Christmas. So it's like,
yeah.
for real? And you're not supposed to count your money, but I counted that.
Yeah.
Just keeping it real. I already bought Christmas gifts in my head.
Well, at least you bought them in your head.
I bought them in my head. Yeah, I ain't charged nothing.
Well, that's a lesson.
No. Yeah, I ain't charged nothing. So, yes. But, okay, so do you think that you will start having other agents up under you, or are you just good with?
No, like I said, real estate boutique. I do have a property manager, but no, I want to keep it the way it is, because I told you I have another business that I do as well, which is real estate. So we're good where we are right now.
Yeah. You have enough. You're good. You're busy. Minding your business.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, like I already said, one of the reasons I respect you so much is because you share. You do not gatekeep, you share, and that's rare in this industry. Why do you think, I know that's important to you, but why do you think it is that some people are just so, they're not as forthcoming, and they just
well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I haven't really experienced that. And the reason being is because everything I did, like I said, there was no training. You had to do it on your own. So I learned by trial and error.
Right.
I didn't really ask. I followed and watched those that were in the brokerage that had been there for years, the ones that were working on Saturdays, the ones that stayed late in the evening. I watched what they did, and I did that. And if I had questions, I would ask them. But I never really was one that went out to ask, because I was hardworking. I was focused on what I wanted to do. So, I really didn't. I can't say. I just focused on
your
me.
lane. And
and that was it. So I can't say that they kept anything from me. The lenders didn't, they weren't that forthcoming with referrals. You know what I'm saying? Now that's a conversation. But when it came, what I learned, I taught myself how to fish. So if the lenders didn't send me anything, I could still generate my own business.
Right.
So as far as gatekeeping and not telling, I don't know exactly what, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand what it is that I needed to ask someone else.
And I don't think I've ever really asked somebody a whole bunch, but I have had other agents come ask me.
Exactly.
But
that part.
But then when I turn around and look, it'll be those same agents that won't share the information with other people.
Look, the ones that I
helped you.
Right, they will ask you things.
Yeah, they'll ask.
Those are the ones that you think that know it all and are up here at the top. But they don't know as much as you think they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
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 So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part.
We'll leave that there.
Right there.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received in real estate?
The best piece of advice that I've ever received in real estate. That's a good question. I don't know. Well, I mean, I had one guy to tell me on the commercial realm. We closed that. That was when I closed the car dealership. That was the largest thing I closed.
Oh,
And
where was that car dealership?
It was here in Texarkana.
Oh,
And it was my first $1 million, or 7-figure deal.
goals.
Okay. And so here was little old me who was put in charge to, and actually it wasn't the brokers that I worked for, but I had someone that I was actually it was my ex-husband. He actually referred his company to call me.
Oh, wow.
And they used me to help find their
Good
nonprofit.
looking out.
Right. And all the time I was scared because I was doing everything and I was finding the buildings, but I was thinking they're just going to use me and then they're just going to go somewhere else.
Right.
But they didn't. And so actually when we, once we got the deal done and the other guy, he was like on the other side, the other broker, he said, I just want to let you know, don't spend your money before you get it. And that was his, he was like, don't spend your money before you get it. He said,
we just talked about that.
Right. He said there was a deal. So I'm just going to say, he said there was this deal that he had and they actually went to close. They closed. They gave them checks. And he was on the way to the bank and they called him from the title company and said, hey, come back. They've changed their mind. So that was, something that he said to me about don't spend your money before you get it. But that's about it. Like I said, I was just out here just doing it. Just doing it.
Yes.
Just doing it.
And were you still working for the state then, or you had already?
No.
quit? Okay, so you were full-time in real estate.
I was full-time real estate. Actually, that deal is what put me out of the broker and made me be my own because they made so much money off of
that.
Deal.
Oh yeah, with all the splits and
they made so
you
much
said
money.
Dyson and splits.
I was like, we got time to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do this. I'm doing the same thing.
I did it,
So I can make the same money. I mean, I'm doing the same thing, but I can make more money.
Right. The brokers had, and that's another thing about real estate. A lot of people get into real estate and they think, well, I want to work for this company and that company because they're a brand. You're your own brand.
Right.
Okay. Because that company is not going to do that. You're doing that. You're your own brand.
You said something right there. Just preach. Just stay right there. Just
you're your own brand for one. And for two,
that's what I'm trying to tell people.
Yes, your client is not going to say, well, I want to work with her because she works for
XYZ Realty.
Yeah. They just want to make sure you can find the property that they want or sell the property that they have. They don't care if you work for Bugs Bunny.
They do not care.
Okay,
they do not care.
You are your own brand. And then and that's what I found out very early on, that they're not doing anything for me. I'm the one out here doing this. So why do I need this brand? I'm my brand. They're not calling me because of this company. They're calling me because of me and the referrals because
they want to work with Jackie.
Exactly, because just what word of mouth.
Yes.
And so I branded myself. So I realized early I don't need this brand.
Nope.
And also in this area, the independents did very well. I did my research. And so I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And anybody that's listening who's looking at getting into real estate and wanting to know what company, it doesn't matter if you're dedicated and you're going to do the work. Right. It doesn't matter where you start.
It does not matter.
You can do it. Yeah.
That is so true. And I will piggyback off of that and say that is something that I firmly believe in, about making sure that I know I'm my brand. So it doesn't matter what brokerage I'm at. It does not matter, because people call me, they want to work with Keisha with the keys. So they call Keisha with the keys.
Exactly.
If I go in Walmart, they're like, hey, Keisha with the keys. Whenever I get ready to buy my house, I'm going to call you, girl. Well, call me. Call me. But they don't say, well, you're at such and such brokerage, so I'm going to call you. Yeah. I mean, they don't care. They do not care where you're at.
They do not.
You are your brand.
That's right. You are your brand. Exactly.
Yes. And you said something right there. So what's a myth in real estate or a common myth maybe, that people think of that is not true? Besides thinking that the brokerage is what builds you up.
As far as the public, everybody thinks real estate agents are rich. They're not.
They see multi-million-dollar producer and think, oh, she got
millions of dollars.
No.
They're
Explain
not.
that to them.
No, yeah. Everybody in real estate is not rich.
No.
That's one of the myths, you know, that they think all of us are rich. We're not rich. That we don't do much. You know, we just
you just opening doors,
and you know, we're not doing anything, but we have a lot of value. So
yes,
you know, it might look easy on the outside, but it is a lot of work that goes into it.
Yes. And I will say, like for the for sale by owner people who don't want to use realtors and they think, I'm not gonna pay them all that money, but I've seen so many that they'll go ahead and list their house on their own, you know, put it for sale on their own, and they end up missing out on $40,000 or $50,000 because they did not contact a realtor or a real estate agent. They didn't know the
true value of their home.
They're looking at what's on the tax site. And so you have a realtor like me probably that swoop in with my clients that I'm representing, and we get the house for a little or nothing because you don't want to pay a realtor.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
It happens all the time.
Yes. So let's talk about the deal that you did when you said that you, I think that was your first big deal.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you get that? How did you land that?
Like I said, it was a referral.
That one?
Yeah, that was it. That was a referral.
Okay. So what about the Goodwill building?
That was the Goodwill building. So what happens, it was a dealership and a nonprofit Goodwill was looking.
Got you. So they bought it and made it to Goodwill.
They made it to Goodwill building.
Got you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
so
good
that was the big one. Okay. And that's when I said, okay, it's time to go. So that building, that closing actually is what started.
That pushed
me out to PinkHouse Realty. Thank you, Goodwill.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this: when did you like? I know you were full time at the state. What was the moment that it went off in your head? Like, it's time for me to go full time. Like,
you really want to know? Well, like I said, I was doing pretty good as I wasn't considered a full-time agent because I had a full-time job, but I was always like, no, I'm an overtime agent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm working and I'm doing more than you, and you are full-time, so I'm overtime.
Right.
So I never said I was a part-time real estate agent. They would say, well, are you full-time? I say, oh, I'm overtime. Okay? Because I'm working after hours, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm overtime. I don't know nothing about
when you at
full-time.
home resting,
I'm overtime.
I'm out here grinding.
Yeah, but so I was, at that time, new in the game and multi-million-dollar producer. We had our little magazines. Everybody was on cable TV at that time.
Oh,
That's how we did most of our advertising was on cable TV. The new listings, the agents, and so
that was before Facebook.
Oh, no social media. And so people in my office thought I was a multi-million-dollar person. Why are you here? You got all this So anyway, it just got to be a lot trying to work.
Did you have like supervisors that kind of picked at you, or?
Well, I mean, they did the best they could, they tried, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got them together.
Yeah, they tried. They tried me. They tried it. They did. I made up my mind. I wasn't leaving till I got ready.
You hear me?
Okay.
That's the same thing that happened with me.
Because, you got sick time and all that stuff. I wasn't going to leave.
Yeah, you right
so
on
I got
out.
sick.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to tell you.
I got sick.
Listen. Okay, I can say this now because I'm self-employed and I don't plan on going back. So anyway, I was actually doing I'm going to tell you how I got my first listing. I was actually doing a visit. It was like a home visit for my previous employer with the state. And there was a for sale by owner sign at a house across the street. So when I got through doing the visit, I called the for sale by owner sign, and they actually came outside and were like, yeah, you want to come in and take a look? I mean, So, and I ended up getting that listing, and that was my first listing.
Right.
And it was like, wow, you know, like, what are the odds?
Yep.
So if you could give somebody like new that's wanting to come into the game some advice, what do you think that would be? Like if you could give them some kind of gem.
If they're wanting to start into real estate,
Mm-hmm.
well, like I said, don't be really concerned with who it is. Like if it's a big brand, because real estate is an expensive field.
It is. It takes money to make money.
It's expensive to just get started. Get with someone that you feel comfortable with, and talk to some people and just kind of get a feel of what it's like. What to expect. You might make it pretty quick as far as money, and you might not, but don't really get caught up on the big brand. You can probably learn a lot more with someone that's smaller that maybe have a little bit more time. And it just depends on what they're doing.
That's true.
But I would just say if that's what they really want, and don't make the money the focal point. Because I did it because I loved it. I loved
have a passion for helping people.
I loved going into the houses.
Likewise.
That was something that I was really, I was excited about it. So if it's something that really feels really good inside, and you feel like this is something you really want to do, and you may have a passion for it, I say go for it.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing it for the money, because the money may not come as soon as you want it to, then you might want to keep the day job and just and be a overtime agent.
Yeah, overtime agent.
Yeah.
Yes. And I agree with that. Like, you have to be passionate about it. And I believe that's why we are successful, because we're passionate about it. We actually love what we do, and we're not doing it just for the money. So that makes a big difference. And I feel like when you're doing something that you were called to do, then the money will come.
Yes.
If you just keep doing the work. Yes, keep doing the work, have faith, and the money will come. And it's come. I mean, I've been full-time, 5 years now? So I quit CPS October 20th of 2020. And this is going on 5 years. Yeah, this is 25. So yeah. So, and it just keeps coming.
That's
I'm not homeless. I ain't lost nothing.
It's the best feeling really to have when you can be self-employed, regardless of what field you choose.
Yes.
You're your own boss.
You're my own boss.
You're your own boss.
That's another thing. Like with my, working for the state, I had a particular supervisor who, he knew that I was in real estate, and he just started making everything hard. But even before that, he started making everything hard. I'll tell you what happened. So I'm just gonna go and tell you. I mean, I ain't going back. So we
you're not going back.
when he wanted to start going on home visits with the employees. So he decided to go on a home visit with me one day, and I mean, I wasn't driving like a luxury vehicle, and then I was driving a Kia, the same thing I'm driving now, but it was a Kia Optima, and it was whatever that year was, it was that vehicle fully loaded, because I like my cars loaded. And he drove like I don't know, it was like a
car.
Yeah, it was just a car, just a car. And so he got off in there, and after it was like, I didn't think anything of it, but we were talking, and I'm talking too much and telling them how I became a homeowner at 20 and all that stuff. Like, we were just talking, having a conversation. And so he was like, "Oh, wow, your car, it does all that." And, it had like the heated and cool
seats. Did he say
seats.
that?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, wow." And like, it was the backup camera that got him, because when you back up, you could see it. It seemed like you could see from the top, and that was something new back then.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh," and then like ever since then, ever since that day, then he just started acting a fool with me and just picking. And then my daughter had a basketball tournament, and it was all the way in South Carolina or North Carolina or somewhere. And he would not, I had all this time, and he would not let me take off.
That's because you're in the wrong place.
He wouldn't let me he would not let me take off. And then he gave me all these cases. Like, it was people in different places, like 45 minutes, an hour from where I live. And he would give me the cases when it was people on our team who were 10 minutes away from these people. So I would have to drive an hour to go check on these kids. Missing my baby's basketball games, and then couldn't go to North Carolina because he wouldn't approve the leave. And I was like, you know what?
That's when you get sick.
Yeah, that's when you get sick. I should have. But, I still toughed it out. I sent my baby with people on the team, and I was like, this is not going to. But, eventually it was like, I was like, I got to go. This is it. Yeah. So it's just the freedom of being able to do what you want to do. Like, I'm going to see her this weekend, and I don't have to call in to nobody. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have to get approval. I'm going.
You can drink during your lunch break if you want to.
I can do whatever I want to do. So, yeah. But I think that was the pivotal moment for me. Because I don't play about my babies. But all right, so let's lighten it up real quick with some fun rapid fire questions.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
No overthinking, just the first thing that comes to mind. What is your dream vacation spot?
Oh, wow. I don't have a specific one, but it would have to be a place that's got beach and water.
Yeah.
Relaxation. Yeah.
I know you like to travel. Yeah. I see it. I'll be like, oh, put me in the suitcase. Oh, and then do you have a favorite closing day celebration meal?
I don't have a closing day celebration meal. I used to just go out and just, when I close something, then I would pay for a meal with somebody special, whatever. But no, I don't.
Okay. Well, I know me and Tamika and we go eat. But I gotta stop that because it shows. And if you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Wow. If I wasn't in real estate, I would be retired. Period.
Okay.
That's
it. Period. And you working on that, right?
I'm working on that right now. Yes.
Okay. And do you have a favorite song that hypes you up before a big deal or a big day?
It just depends on what it is and what's going on. Yeah. Mary J. Blige is my girl.
Yes.
So, yeah. But, I don't have a specific song that hypes me up. Okay. I'm my own hype person.
Yes, I can hype myself up. Yep. I just be right here in this kitchen. So this conversation has been so good. I knew it would be. I thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This is like the first, we did this same thing a couple years ago, but this is the first one in the kitchen with Keisha with the keys. And so Keys and Connections. So I'm so glad that you came on and you dropped some gems today like you always do.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
My pleasure. So before we go, let the people know how they can find you, whether it be, if they want to reach out to you. Okay. Whether it be website.
Well, I'm at PinkHouse Realty. Like I said, I've been in business for 19 years. I do residential and commercial real estate as well as churches and stuff like that. And then for those investors who want to put their properties, maybe on a site, or if they're just looking to maybe get some contracts with the government, I do that as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. And I want to learn about them contracts. And that's a wrap on the first episode of Keys and Connections in the Kitchen. So, yeah.
All right.
If y'all got some value from this, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Share it with somebody who needs to hear this. She dropped some gems today. I'm so glad Miss Jackie came on, and it's been a pleasure. So until next time, I'm your favorite homegirl, Keisha with the keys, and I'm ready to get you home. Have a good day.